Welcome to another episode of the 40 Hour Cricket Podcast with Jim and Akim. We'll be discussing the 50 over World Cup game between Netherlands and Sri Lanka that was played earlier today. Sri Lanka finally recording a victory after 3 losses, which included some mammoth run scores, records and stuff like that being broken. Netherlands batting first. They made 262 all out. Sri Lanka chased it down with about 2 overs to spare, making 263 and while losing 5 wickets. Netherlands batted first. They made 96. They made 91 for 6 inside of 15 overs, and then they had a repair job by Logan Van Beek and Sibrand Engelbrecht, who made 70, Van Beek made 59. They had a bit of a scare early. Well, it was quite a scare, being 91 to 6. Sri Lankan opening bowlers having their way with the Netherlands batting lineup. Kasun Rajita got 4 wickets inside 17 overs. And then Madhushanka, arguably, well, to me, one of the best opening bowlers we are seeing in the tournament thus far. He's now joint leading wicket taker with 11 wickets. Both of them getting 4 wickets apiece in the game.
What do you think about the middle order repair job done by the Netherlands? Generally, the associate nations are teams that stack the batting lineup, as we've always said. Their best batters are generally in the top 1 to 4, but the Netherlands have proven in this World Cup that they have some depth towards the lower and middle order.
The repair job was a mature professional innings by Van Beek and Engelbrecht. They batted 10 overs. And they batted 10 overs without scoring a boundary, but still were able to score at 5 runs per over.
Which is very good.
So they did a lot of running, hitting the ball into gaps, running 1s, 2s, and basically just turned the strike over, kept the scoreboard ticking while repairing the innings before they started getting more adventurous and scoring boundaries. Even when they started scoring boundaries though, they never scored more than 2 boundaries in a single over. They hit a boundary and then they still rotated the strike and got 6-7 runs per over quite easily.
The Sri Lankan bowling effort, I know that they were very good early with the new ball.
Yeah.
What do you make of how they bowled in the middle overs and how they bowled during the partnership?
Firstly, it's quite interesting that Sri Lanka finally decided to pick an adult bowling lineup. In the previous games, the average age of the bowling lineup was about 20 years old.
Very young.
This match they had Madhushanka, who was outside of Tikshana, the oldest bowler in the lineup. He's 23. This game they went with Rajita who is 30. Also Dushan Himanta, he's about 29 years old as a spinner. He came into the lineup as well and bowled quite economically. Rajita had the ball swinging early and he got one of the openers out LBW, the ball pitching on about half stump and hitting middle. He's a left-hander. And I think he got Max O'Dowd out caught behind. So inside of the power play, he had already gotten 3 wickets. He got a break and then came back in around the 16th over and removed, I think it was Bass the leader. Yeah. And then Madhushanka supported him well at the other end. So by the time Rajita's 2 spells were completed, half of Netherlands team was back in the dressing room.
I've been pretty impressed with Logan Van Beek in this tournament. I believe that he's one of the finds, probably one of the better associate nation cricketers going around. He has been handy with both the bat and the ball in this tournament. Another good innings from him today. It's only a credit to him and a credit to cricket in the Netherlands and I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing from them. Generally, associate teams come to the World Cup and everyone expects them to be blown away for 150, 130, 180 maybe, and they cruise home and win the games quite easily. But Netherlands have put up a solid fight in this World Cup. 262 by an associate nation team is a fairly respectable score in a World Cup, and they've been very good throughout the tournament, I believe. So credit goes to them, and who knows if they can spring another upset in this tournament before it is done.
And another interesting point to know in Netherlands, Engelbrecht, the top scorer for them, he played in he's been playing since 2008. He had retired in about 2016, 17 thereabout, and came back for this World Cup. He has had some highlights with fielding and bowling and taking some spectacular catches, but to see him finally getting a score, pushing the team, it's quite a storied transition for him throughout his international career, and it's really good to see. Sri Lanka now in reply made 263 for 5, as I said earlier. Patum Nissanka with his third successive half century in the tournament. Kusal Mendes, the captaincy, seem to have been weighing him down a bit. His scoring rate is now, in the past 2 games, is less than 100 after scoring 180 in the previous games.
The runs have tailed off as well.
And again, Samara Wickrama, basically held the innings together.
Yeah.
It was a tricky chase. Netherlands bowlers bowled well. He had partnerships with Asalanka and the Silva to bring the game home in the 48th over. Netherlands.
Patrick Desanka for me is a very good player. He's somebody that burst onto the scene in Test cricket for Sri Lanka. I believe he made his debut against the West Indies and he scored a century. When you look at him play, he's a very organized player. He's a touch player, somebody that should do well in these conditions, and he's somebody that Sri Lanka should base their batting effort around, I believe. He's somebody that is perfectly capable of batting 30, 35 overs and getting a score of 80, 90, 100 at close to a strike rate of 100. Somebody that you can build a base around, and I think he's the perfect foil for somebody like Kusal Pereira when he's firing, and Kusal Mendes as well. Both didn't get scores in this game, but he's a very organized player, and I have been impressed with him.
The Netherlands bowling effort was pretty good. No one outside of Bastelida bowled horribly. They all went at about 5 runs over, which is basically on par with what Sri Lanka needed to win the game. Highlight for me with their bowling, Aryan Dutt again.
Yes, 3 wickets.
He is the most outstanding off spinner I've seen in this tournament. Genuine off spinner, not counting Glenn Maxwell and Glenn Phillips. He's the best we have seen on show thus far, and it just lets you feel confident that associate teams, if they continue getting the opportunities to play against the best of the best, they will be more than competitive in the near future and will be able to consistently win games as well. He has, outside Ashwin, he's really the most consistent and the best we've seen.
Well, what I would say about Aryan Dutt is that the skill that he's performing in the power play is a very difficult one. Bowling off spin, opening the bowling, brand new ball, only 2 fielders outside of the circle in the power play. It's a very difficult skill to master and execute, and he has been very good at performing this art, especially in the World Cup. credit must go to him and credit must go to the Netherlands for giving him the support and backing him up in the field when he goes out to execute the job. What I must also say about the Netherlands and the associate teams in general is that they play a lot of cricket. I believe that they play a lot more 50 over cricket than probably the full member nations, and they generally have most of the players playing. You know that a team like the Netherlands, there are people that are a team like the Netherlands, they have a lot of players that drift off to county cricket, but players like Dutt and some others who played in the qualifiers and they got a fair number of opportunities to play international cricket and come through, they are being rewarded for their effort and consistency. So credit to the Netherlands and associate nations.
Yes, the associate nations play a lot of cricket because they have the World Cricket League and they have the qualifiers. But Netherlands and probably Scotland is the only one that struggle to have their full team playing at all times because their players are in the county setup. But as I said in our previous episode, because Netherlands had those players missing, they were able to unearth new talent. So their squad and pool of players has grown to a level where they have competent backups in the event that players are missing, and their local competition will now be more competitive because there are more players with international experience. Remember that they basically beat the West Indies with a B team.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
So it's good. It's looking good for them. I am very, very, very happy to see how they are going, and they're consistently scoring more than 250.
Yes,
which is
credit to them.
A big effort. The way forward for Sri Lanka, they are now, with the loss that England had against South Africa today, they are now second from the bottom. England are firmly bottom dwellers now. If Sri Lanka can string 4 wins together, know that they have adults playing, do you see them possibly achieving that?
I think it will be difficult for them. It's good that they've gotten a win here, but I don't see them beating some of the other nations that they still have to play. I think they are still a work in progress, and this is probably a World Cup too early for them. Maybe in 4 years' time, when those younger bowlers that you made mention to gain a lot more experience in international cricket and develop some more, there would be more of a threat. But for now, I believe that this is a World Cup that they really have to take it game for game and try to spring surprises against the bigger nations. So I don't see them making the top 4, not in this tournament. They're not there just yet.
The way forward for Netherlands, Max Allowed hasn't been what we expected. Do you think, he hasn't been what we expected him to be. He's generally the most competent and most consistent batter in their top order. He's been struggling, and as a result, the middle and lower order has been tasked with bailing the team out on a number of occasions. What do you think the Netherlands could do to improve their performances or challenge?
I think they are punching. I think they're punching probably well above their weight now. I think they're doing fairly well as things stand. They've claimed a major scalp already in the tournament. When you look at the brand of cricket they're playing, you think it's good cricket, it's decent, but there is just something missing. Probably the X factor that the bigger playing nations have, that probably explosiveness or the experience of having a couple players that have played maybe over 100 or 150 one-day internationals, or players that go around the circuit playing T20 cricket. You feel like that is probably what their cricket misses just a bit. So it will be difficult for them to really challenge the bigger playing nations consistently. that being said, I think they're still playing very good cricket, and it's a credit to them. And I look forward to seeing them for the rest of the tournament.
All right. I think that's our episode on Netherlands Sri Lanka. It was an interesting game. Sri Lanka almost made it closer than it should have been. The scoreline at the end doesn't really suggest that, but watching the game, you thought, knowing Sri Lanka's fragility in their middle and lower middle,
Yes.
you were thinking if Samara Vikrama got out at any point, it could be very, very, very tight. However, that's the end of today's episode. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.